We all know carp fishing in winter can be one of the toughest times of year to catch carp. The fish are a lot more shoaled up, they don't give themselves away easy, and they have certain feeding times. Combine that with the weather, it's bitterly cold, big winds, lots of rain, which makes the banks very uncomfortable. However, there are rewards to be had. Yeah, second fish I've just seen show. Definitely think this is the swim to be in, 100%. Personally, I really enjoy my winter fishing. There's not as many people on the bank. The banks are a lot quieter, which gives me a better opportunity of getting onto some fish. However, if I am set up in a swim and I see fish show in a different part of the lake, I'm able to get on the barrow, get round and get onto some fish. For me, there's nothing more rewarding than in the depths of winter, catching a carp. When all the odds are against you, you feel like you've really earned it. One of the most important factors I like to consider this time of year is venue choice. We're down at Linear Fisheries on St John's Lake. We're 36 hours ahead of us. The reason why I've chosen St John's Lake is because over the past few years in the winter, I fished it on and off and I've been able to catch myself a large number of carp. It's got a good winter form, it's got a good head of carp, and if you get your tactics right, you can have some amazing sessions. Over the next few days, I'm going to show you guys some of my tactics that I take into this time of year to hopefully help you put a few fish on the bank this winter. It's just pure gravel. I want to fish on the silt just past the gravel, but it's all just pure gravel out there. That's the one. Now I've got to try and get 3 solid bags out there before this torrential downpour comes in. Right, well, as you can probably hear, the weather is horrendous, 40-mile-per-hour headwinds, torrential rain, so for now we've taken a little bit of cover. I found a nice spot at 24 wraps, just past the gravel into the silt. I'm going to fish maggot solid bags for the next couple of hours. Then when the wind dies down later, I'm going to rechuck all the rods, get a few spoms out, and we'll see what happens. The weather's absolutely perfect. Not ideal for filming, but I'm sure we can get a few fish on the bank. These best go out first cast. Well, we've just had a short space in the weather. I've managed to get 3 solid bags out in the general area where I've seen a few shows this morning. It's worth a couple of hours whilst this wind's really bad, but later on I'm going to redo all the rods, get a few spoms out once that wind's died down, but hopefully we can nick a few this afternoon. Solid bags are one of the most effective tactics, especially this time of year. You can virtually cast them anywhere and guarantee that you're going to be presented, whether that's over silt, gravel or even low-lying weed. Not only that, it's the perfect pile of bait for the carp to come down, hoover it up, your hook bait sat there like a cherry on the top of a cake, and it absolutely nails them. Another thing to consider is the weather. Today we're faced with 40 mph headwinds, which is creating a horrible undertow, so getting bait down to the bottom can be an absolute nightmare. So you can guarantee with 3 solid bags out there, you've got a pile of attraction around your hook bait. There's one bait that I will not leave home without this time of year for my solid bags, and that's maggots. There's no denying that naturals really come into their own this time of year. Just a little bit of colour, a little bit of movement can really get you them bonus bites. So them solids have been out for about 3 or 4 hours now. Nothing's happened. I didn't really expect much to happen. I just sort of put them out in the general area where I've seen a few fish show this morning. But now the wind's died down, I've had a little lead about, and I found the spot at 25 wraps just past the gravel into the silt, which is where I like to fish, and I've had previous form on this lake. I'm just about to tie up 3 fish solids, full of maggots, maggot hook baits. I've decided I'm going to put a few spawns of essential soil crumb out over the top as well, just for a bit of scent. And yeah, hopefully we can nick one tonight, if not early morning. Where's this come from? Wait, that left-hander. Well, that's the last spawn going out for tonight. 3 spawns, plumb over the bags. Just a bit of scent, so hopefully that's enough to nick a bite tonight. Well, I went into the night very optimistic. I rechucked all 3 maggot solid bags at 5 o'clock on last light. And at 10 o'clock, just as I was getting into the sleeping bag, the first rod was away in my left-hander. The wind was absolutely battering me. After a long, hard battle, I managed to land this lovely 31-pound mirror. You know, for January, I was absolutely buzzing. And just as I thought it couldn't get any better, it just goes to prove the importance of rechucking the rods straight away. 20 minutes later, the middle rod was away with this lovely low 20 mirror. Again, it just goes to show the importance. Again, I rod back out on the spot because 10 minutes later, my right-hand rod was away with a lovely low 20 fully scaled. The weather was so bad, I just unhooked it in the net and just slipped it back. Then I went quiet for a few hours, obviously went back to sleep after having all them fish. Then at 4:30 this morning, the left-hand rod was away again. Unfortunately, I lost it at the net. But it's looking good. All 3 rods are back out. It's still, I'd say, bite time, so we'll see what happens for the rest of the morning, but if not, we'll go and look for an opportunity elsewhere. I just had to go to the call of nature. I've left Jack with the rods and the left-hand rod is away. Yeah, I'm completely out of breath, so I'm gonna concentrate on this fish and try and get it in the net. It's not too far out now. It's a good fish, I think. Oh, what a result. Happy days. Well, how was about that for a St John's mirror? Just over 31 pounds, my second 30 of the session. I'm absolutely buzzing. Just goes to prove how deadly the maggot bags can be at this time of year. You know, the fish aren't coming out over big beds of bait, but just that small pile of attraction just nails them every time. I'm absolutely buzzing, so you can get that rod back out straight away and see what the rest of the day has to bring. I am freezing. Ooh. Don't know how that's happened. Right.
What's your plan for the rest of the day?
Well, first things first, I'm going to get this untangled. Then I'm going to get a fresh solid bag straight back out on the spot. You know, we've still got till 3 or 4 o'clock this afternoon. I think there's still a chance for another bite. So I might rechuck the other rods, get 3 fresh bags out there, and hopefully we can nick one more before we go home. But if not, it's been an incredible session. You know, 2 30-pounders and just in a little under 24 hours with a couple backup fish. You know what, I'll take that any day. So yeah, let's get this entangled, get a bag back out and see what happens. Right then, so here's my solid bag that I've been using to good effect. It's just a bog standard, bit of supple braid, size 6 wide gape with a bit of shrink tubing. And what I've done differently on the end to what other people would do, most people would floss maggots, which does work, but I just find it a little bit easier. Instead of making a hair, just tying a little match hook onto the end, hooking 4 or 5 maggots on, and all you got to do is literally hook them on as you would. Turn the hook back around, push it into your piece of plastic, and that's it. It's really simple, but works to good effect. So I've just slipped back that lovely 31-pounder, but I'd just like to take this opportunity to talk you through my setup from coming up to venues like Linear. It's just my go-to setup. So if you start off with the rods, I've got the 13-foot longbow X45s in £4 test curve. I know it might sound a lot, it's £4 test curve, but it's got a lovely forgiving rod tip, so it doesn't allow you to bump fish off at the net, but also got the backbone to really get out into the middle of the pond. You know, last week I was on Harwicks and Smiths fishing 16 wraps, fishing with zigs, landing carp to over £30 again. Now we're on St John's, faced with a 50-mile-per-hour headwind, fishing solid bags at 25 wraps, you know, really using the full rod's potential to allow me to hit them distances. I've paired the rods up with the Daiwa 23 emblem reels. They balance out this setup absolutely perfect. It is one of our middle range reels, but it's still packed full of features such as the slow cross wrap technology, which gives it a beautiful line lay, and it's also got that 45mm spool, which allows me to hit them distances out in the pond. Not a lot's really happened for the past couple hours. I last had my last bite at 9 o'clock. It's now coming up to midday. I just feel like the lake's switched off. As suspected really, you know, this time of year, as I was saying, with them certain feeding spells, that just proves why you've just got to make the most when you do get that first bite, get that rod back out, because just short little windows, you just got to make the most of it. But I think when they give it maybe another hour, and then probably start packing things down. Well, it's been a few hours now since we've had that last bite. Not a lot else has gone on. It's just coming up to midday. So whilst we've had a little break in the weather, I've just put a few bits in the van, just got a few bits drying out. But yeah, what a session it's been. 5 fish, 2 30-pounders at the end of January. I couldn't have asked for anything else. Hopefully I've gave you guys a little insight into how I'd approach waters like Linear at this time of year to help you put a few fish on the bank.